Hello, everyone. Luis Concepcion here from Strategic Profit Line Trading, coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 50. As always, here's our disclosures. This content is for educational purposes only. I'm not providing any investment advice. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and all investments deals involve risks, including the loss of your principal. Here's the agenda for the week. As always, I'll cover the news, provide a quick market overview of the indices, and earnings season is obviously winding down. We only have 95 companies reporting this week, so it should be a slow week. Here's our results for week 49. We went ahead and took a losing week for our first time in a long time. I think we've only had 4 losing weeks this week, so it happens. You can't win them. You can't win every week. However, on the year, we're doing outstanding. Here's what the earnings outlook looks like for week 50. Again, like I said, still have a couple of earnings to go this week, and I'll do my best to cover those for you this week. I went ahead and I added week 49. As you can see, we went actually 3-3 um, for our options. However, there was a trade that did not work in stocks, somebody who got stopped out. So that's why I counted it as a losing trade. With that being said, we are 136-37 on the year. Moving into our news, as you can see, starting on Monday, we don't have anything affecting the U.S. markets. For those of you trading futures and Forex, be mindful that you have an report in the evening for the Australian dollar. Moving on to Tuesday, should be a quiet day. There is no immediate news impacting us. And then Wednesdays when the volatility starts picking up. So as you can see, we got our core CPI and CPI reports pre-market on Wednesday morning. And the Canadian dollar also will be affected pre-market on Wednesday morning. So look out for some volatility at the open or the market or pre-market. Then after the market, you can see that the Australian dollar will be affected for those of you trading futures and Forex. Moving on to Thursday, the euro will be affected pre-market, and then we have our PPI reports and unemployment claims pre-market on Thursday. So you can expect some volatility pre-market and at the open of the market. So be mindful of that. And then the euro is also releasing reports, pretty much 2 reports back to back with 30 minutes apiece pre-market. So the euro should experience some volatility. The British pound will be affected Thursday evening, so be mindful of that. They got their GDP report, and then Friday should be quiet. And the big thing that we have should be the results of Costco's earnings on Friday morning. Moving into the chart, starting with the SPX. The SPX went ahead and made an all-new time high, cracking 6,100. With that being said, there is no supply in the S&P 500. The Santa Claus rally is in full effect. First demand zone I have for you is 60.54 to 60.24. Moving on to the NASDAQ. On the NASDAQ, went ahead and broke this area as well from last week, making all new time highs again. And no supply in the NASDAQ as well. And then we have first demand zone is 2932 to 2610. Moving on to the Dow Jones. As you can see, the Dow Jones is starting to make the turn that earlier that the S&P and NASDAQ did a couple of weeks ago. So maybe the S&P and NASDAQ will remain strong this week while the Dow Jones pulls back a little bit. With that being said, there is no supply in the Dow Jones. First level I have for you is at 433.72 to 429.35. Now, moving on to the rut. The rut, this is our level that I held previously. You see we had a nice drawdown, and now this level is getting weaker. Be very cautious if you elect to use this. However, the Russell might be the last one that hasn't made an all-time high again. It's taken 3 years for the Russell to pretty much everybody to get back to break even. So just keep that in mind. Utilize this level with caution. Do not get married to it. That's going to be 24.12 to 24.61 on the supply side. Again, cautious. They might make the Russell make all new time high. And on the demand side, we got 22.2748 to 21.95. Now, moving into earnings for the week. We don't have many, but I have a couple for you. First one I'm going to cover is AI. As you can see, AI has been between these two levels. It dropped from this level previously here. And that's what's been containing AI. First level I have for you on the demand side is 2061 to 1669, and on the supply side, 4386 to 5364. Just be mindful that both these levels have previously worked. Next company I have for you is Oracle. Oracle making an all new time high. There is no supply in Oracle, just like the majority of our stocks in the stock market. First demand zone I have for you is 172.07 to 167.54. Next company I have for you, MDB. MDB on the demand side, 290.86 to 273.08, and on the supply side, 352.29 to 387.85. Next company moving into AutoZone. AutoZone has held our levels pretty well. It finally broke its supply level. There is no supply in AutoZone. First demand level I have for you is sitting at 30.28 to 29.78. Next company I have for you is Ali. And no supply on Ali. First demand zone I have for you is 80.23 to 77.56. Next company, David Buster's or Play. On the demand side, 27.43 to 22.06, and on the supply side, 51.98 to 57.54. Next company, Macy's. Macy's has been contained in these two levels, and these levels are as follows. On the demand side, 14.20 to 13.12, and on the supply side, 18.80 to 19.74. Next company I have for you is Adobe. On Adobe, on the demand side, 468.01 to 451.08. Be mindful there is another level right below it in the event of an overshoot at 437 to 410. On the supply side, you got 590.32 to 611.11, and another level right on top of it at 617.55 to 675.83 in the event you get an overshoot on Adobe. Moving to Nordson. So Nordson on the supply side, 268.43 to 276.15, and on the demand side, 208.07 to 194.73. Next is Oxford. So for Oxford on the demand side, 62.31 to 53.23, and then 107.18 to 111.34 on the supply side. Next company is Broadcom. No supply on Broadcom. They did a split earlier in the year. And first demand level I have for you is 141.14 to 135.02. For those of you who want to see this macro level, that level is going to be 115.09 to 104.23. And lastly, Costco. So for Costco, making all-time highs, I will not be surprised if they crack 1,000. And the first demand level I have for you is sitting at 869.61 to 852.16. That's going to do it for the charts for us this week. Just be mindful that next week, the Fed is scheduled to cut rates. I will cover that in the next week's plan of the week. For those of you who aren't doing so already, go ahead and follow me on social media. Please go ahead and hit that like button. And for those of you who have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to go to the website or send me an email and check out when I have next courses coming up starting in the new year. Until then, happy trading.